Why do I need to work? Have you ever asked yourself why you had to work? By work, I mean being employed. My guest today asked herself this key question. In the end, she decided being employed wasn't her cup of tea because what she really wanted to do was to teach children real skills for the real world. She came up with a program that is now rapidly being adopted by other Asian countries. She's quite entrepreneurial, having started her t-shirt business at 14 and later a food rescue startup. Hello and welcome to Season 5 of the Womenpreneur Asia podcast, and I'm your host, Krista Good. I'm also an entrepreneur, author, marketer, storyteller, and connector. My mission is to uncover the stories and strategies of Asian women entrepreneurs in Asia to help you as you navigate your own business journey. This episode is brought to you by Redbox Studio. And as always, please subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast player. Subscribing lets you get the episode automatically when it's published. Today's episode is with a Malaysian entrepreneur, Teh Wuan Xin. She is the founder and CEO of AI Talent, a business that develops child entrepreneurs. What I appreciate about Wuan Xin is her youthful enthusiasm, collaborative spirit, and true optimism. She candidly reveals that she failed at the first startup, but took the lessons to grow her present business not just in Malaysia but throughout Asia. She also talks about the importance of having a bucket list and how the pandemic helped her business in so many ways, and the leadership lessons that she has learned. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to Womenpreneur Asia, Wuan Xin.
Hi, Krista.
So Wuan Xin, where are you today now?
I'm at home. I was actually planning to go to the office and do the recording, but I sprained my ankle. So I can't actually drive because it's my right foot.
And how do you sprain your ankle?
So I was sharing this morning we had a project where we brought the autistic kids to like a hiking trip, right? Because we haven't been outdoor. So we have about 8 volunteers, including myself. And while I was hiking down, I sprained my ankle. Yeah, so that was how it happened this morning. But I mean, it was fun. I like it. We went to this place called the Mirror Lake in Shah Alam. It's very beautiful.
So you are based in PJ or KL?
Yes. I'm based in PJ.
Okay. For listeners who are not familiar with Malaysia, that's like near the capital, right?
Yeah.
So Wuan Xin, what is your business about?
My business is to train children to be entrepreneurs. Basically to train children business skills. And when I started, right, my aim is to let them exposed to as many industries as possible. So then at the end of the day, they know what is their strength and maybe eventually which industry they want to focus on.
And how did you come to start this business?
I share with a lot of people about it. Steve Jobs actually mentioned connecting the dots, right? So before that, I thought, I started this business because I like children. But I realized actually it started way back when I was 14, because that time I started my own business, right? So it was a very small t-shirt business when I was 14 years old. And then around college time, I actually spent time with a lot of special needs children. So then I realized maybe I can do something to support the educators' income. And then after that, I was in another startup, which we call that Food Ninja. That one we support environment. And then I moved to the recent one, which was another education company, right? And then I met my business partner. So I saw like it was connecting the dots, because I told myself, hey, I want to support, increase educators' income. And I wrote in my book, right? I want to help to improve Malaysia's education. And then I met my business partner and we were like, you know what, let's start it, right? We just make use of children's time. We want to make sure they're productive. So why don't they learn what the adults are doing right now instead of waiting until after university?
You say you started your business when you were 14. So what gave you that idea?
It's a very small, it was very small business, as in it's just the bunch of friends. It wasn't a business to me then. It was just, okay, let's try, right? Let's play. So it's like, hey, why don't we start a t-shirt thing? Okay, you be the designer, right? And then I was the one that doing the sales, and then the other person was handling the sourcing for the manufacturer. Yeah. So then it was a play thing to us. It was like, okay, can we make something out of our strength? And yeah, it became like that.
Were you happy with the outcome from your play?
We managed to break even, no profit. So it's basically, we took our savings, some of our money, right? We took our savings out, and then we just managed to get back our pocket money. So I guess it's good because it was the first time we didn't lose any money. So in a way, it's still good, I guess.
Sometimes I see that a lot of people get started when they're very young because of environmental influence or even the people around them, right? So in your case, were your parents or were your peers or even people around you, were they a big part of that influence in you starting a business? Even though you call it a play, not technically a business, but it's something that you felt was different from what other people are doing at 14 years old.
The reason why I started was because my grandfather, he used to start a few business, and I think that kind of influenced, like, not even myself, I think also my family, to more of being on the business side. And of course, my friends, and usually, I think I just want to mention here, right? My other partners are all men, right? They were all teenage boys at that time when I worked with them. And surprisingly, I think when I was sharing this to a lot of female, right? It's like, oh, I plan to start it, like my current business, right? I plan to start this. They would be like, okay, so have you got your savings ready? Have you got this ready? What if this happened? So it was a lot like that. But when I actually talk to men, just do it. That's what they say. Just do it tomorrow. Like, just do it. So I see the difference, and definitely my guy friends have supported me in a sense, like they say, just do it. So that time was the one that I realized the difference between how women behave and how men behave when it comes to starting a business.
Your guy friends were the ones who were with you when you started that business as a teen.
Yes, and not only that, like even now, I still see a lot of male friends that would encourage and they would just try. Like when they want to start business, they just try. And there's not so much of overthinking.
Why do you think this is? Is it a gender thing? Do you think predominantly it's a gender thing, or is the way that we are brought up to think of risk differently from, I guess, males?
Honestly, I think it's both, because when I first started my business as well, I actually thought about, okay, let me check it out. Right? Do I have enough savings for, let's say, 1 or 2 years? What if this happened? What can I do? So I actually do that before, and I thought for almost 2 months before I start my company, which is called AI Talent right now. To me, I feel like it's both. We can't deny that it's also in a way a biology thing, but I would say it's also a culture where it's like women should stay at home, right? And that safety net and that insecurity, I would say it's also in a social setting, in a community setting. People be thinking like, okay, you should be an employee, you must be safe. There's this sense of insecurity that makes women say, okay, I shouldn't do this.
Now with your AI talent, how are you incorporating some of this risk taking? Because this is a good way to talk about your business too, right? I mean, like, this is also what makes you want to do what you do for children.
Yeah. So for us is, when we get to involve children, right? It's about, hey, you do first. I know this is a topic that you don't know, let's say animation, right? Or even the recent one, which was to take food photography. So we know that you don't know about this area. It's fine. Just do it, right? Then you get feedback. And then you go and improve again. Then you get feedback. So that's the way we change the way we treat our children, as in like how are they going to learn. So what we call a flip learning. So you do first, and then you can get feedback, and that actually enhance their risk taking, little by little, because it's like, you do first, you don't know what is it, but just go ahead and do first. We'll find out later. Then I noticed, because we advocate this to our children, right? And we ourselves started to be like that.
What are some of the programs that you're organizing for children? Are they all program based?
So it's basically, AI Talent is one program. It's just that we switch them from different industry to different industry. So I'm going to give you an example. We did shoe design project with a shoe manufacturer from Bandung, Indonesia. So the children get to design shoe that they like. Then we collaborate with DJ as well. So we did digital safety. So how do you protect yourself on the internet, which we find is very important for children. We did this Ang Pao Chinese New Year packet design, so Ang Pao design, with a Taiwanese CEO. So she guided them to design very nice Ang Pao. So it's more of they design first, and then she provides some feedback in terms of how do they improve their design. We did with this retail consultant about shopping mall. So they learn about consumer survey. So every 2 months, I would engage with one industry expert. Then they would come and guide our children together with our facilitators.
So it sounds like they are getting real world experience before they even get into the real world.
It is. And one of the project where we did this ice cream project, so they make their own ice cream, and the children get to sell their homemade ice cream. I think we did this Zoom session, right? It's like, okay, now we have 2 hours, go out and sell. And in that 2 hours, they actually made 15,000 ringgit worth of sales.
Wow.
2 hours. And average age about 10, 11 years.
That's really cool. It's very cool because they are doing something that is so out of their regular learning.
Yeah. And then, some would be very afraid to like, okay, how should I talk to, but as long as they make their first sale, they have their breakthrough.
Do you normally work with industry experts within Malaysia, or I know you mentioned Bandung and all that, but is it, how does that kind of collaboration work? Because I know like certain things can only be taught hands-on, right?
Correct.
And so it's a little bit difficult to be virtual.
So we have been doing virtually since 2020, right after the pandemic, right? But the way we work with them is they will come into a Zoom session and they get to meet the CEO for 1 hour a month. Then the CEO will talk to all the children, because we have students from Thailand, we have students from Japan, we have students from Indonesia as well. We can't have them physically at the same place, right? At the same time, we can't do that. So we always have this Zoom session. And in fact, tonight we're having one with the Japanese commercial photographer. So he's also an artist. So he's going to meet all the children from everywhere. So we are doing a closing ceremony for his project. Yeah. So in terms of how we work together, of course, when I first started, it was all Malaysian CEO. But as we go on further, we started getting people from Taiwan, from Japan, from Singapore, Thailand, and that creates a very good bonding, because our children get to learn from different culture. They get to understand how even male and CEO might behave differently, right? And then the way they give the assignment would be different as well. So how can our children adapt to them? Yeah, that is what we want the children to learn.
So it seems to me that there's a lot of cross-cultural learning involved as well, not just the learning of the skill, right, or the expertise that they want to gain from there. So it's learning of other people's cultures. So then this brings me back to this point which I wanted to ask you. How do you get those industry experts to come on board and be part of your, lecturers, teachers?
So usually we would, have a Zoom meeting. I can't deny that. So we would start exchanging each other's business. And then I would be like, hey, why don't we collaborate? And I would find a win-win situation. So how I do is I listen to them in terms of where they want their company to work towards and how they plan their some of their future plans, or maybe some new products, right? Then from there, after listening, then I would find a way that we can collaborate, not only supporting our children. We want the company to benefit. So when I say the company to benefit, not necessarily in the monetary terms. For example, right? So the Japanese artist that I was saying, the commercial photographer, he's very into guiding the children. He was like, okay, you must put the lighting there, and the light they can use just flashlight with like a A4 paper, and that's it. So he's very into guiding the kids in terms of how can they position their food, how can they make it nice. But in return, like, he wants people to know more of his art. So why not we get the children to view his gallery as well? So in a way, it's like, okay, how can we support each other, right? Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be monetary term.
So it means that you're trying to also create something for the teachers. Can I call them teachers? Industry experts / teachers who come on board. Yeah, who come on board to help you guide and teach the children. So what are some of the reactions from the, not only children, but reactions from the parents? That'll be interesting.
I just want to share this one story that happened just a few days ago. One of the coach, so we have a few tiers here. I just want to make it clear. So we sell programs to tuition centers, home tutors, and schools, right? So we sell programs to them. They adopt our program into their center. So we train B2B, right? So we train the teachers as facilitators. So they're not the coach, they're the facilitators, right? So the main person who guide is still the industry expert. So this facilitator, one of the facilitator in Selangor, so she was sharing to me, one of her students is very good at drawing, very good. So her art, she's very artistic and all. But in her school, as in her primary school, she actually faced bully by her teacher, and the teacher was saying, what can you do with drawing? What can you do with painting? Can you earn money from it? Like, it doesn't bring you anything. And she was so upset. She told this teacher, which is the tuition center teacher, right? She told her that, what's the meaning of life? Like I don't see anything anymore, because she loses her self-confidence so much. Right? So then our facilitator, which is the tuition teacher, decided to enroll her into AI talent program. And just happened so, it was the Ang Pao design, which is the Chinese New Year red packet design. Right? And her design got top 3 because she put a lot of thought into that design. So if you know, there's this song called Two Little Tigers, 两只老虎. And she used that because the song says that 一只没有耳朵，一只没有尾巴. It means like one tiger, that lost an ear, and the other tiger lost the tail. And she actually made the drawing like that. So it was actually my favorite. And because of that, the confidence just boosted, right? And she realized like, hey, I can do something. It doesn't mean that I can't. Yeah. So that is something that really, really, really touched my heart.
In that way, it's also helping children see their own potential. Sometimes other people don't see. So then it brings me back to this question that you love working with children. Is there any plan of yours to work with others, groups besides children?
We actually thought about adults, of course, but unfortunately for my business, no. However, as I was saying, this morning I went to support my Leo Club. So I am also involved in NGO, which is the Lions Club. So we do sponsor the Leo Club in Segi College, Subang Jaya, and also UCSI University. So I do spend quite some time with college students as well as university students. That would be the young adults, right? I mean, to me, our children, I still call them young adults. So that is more of a not a business way, but it's more of my hobby, because I feel like I want to inspire more young women to come out and really just start something. It doesn't matter if they start as a side hustle, and then slowly they want to make it become an actual business, or it can be starting something by doing a podcast, doing something different. It doesn't have to be work related, but it's also for them to step out of themselves, right? Just think out of the box. And I noticed that it takes quite a lot of courage for them to step it out. And I just want to be that person that can inspire.
Maybe college going young women whom you want to inspire and to encourage them to take risk in their life, right? And because you feel that is something that women don't do enough. Let's backtrack a little bit.
Okay,
what were you doing before you started your business?
I actually enrolled into environmental science degree when I was in university. And that
you
time
must have a big heart for nature.
I know. I like that's one of my passion, right? So I told my dad, the reason why I chose that degree is because I want to save the world. that time was so funny. Now I think it's quite cute in a way. So I told my dad I want to save the world, so I want to save the earth, right? So why don't I study environmental science? After that, there was actually a gap in between my graduation day and the time when I finish the degree. So it's about 6 to 7 months gap. So that time I decided to spend full-time volunteering. So I was in a special needs center for children every Tuesday to Thursday. I was in a special needs center for adults. So I do things that they can't actually do. For example, logistic check, warehouse check, or maybe setting up a few things. So some of the things that they can't actually do, then I will support them. Then every alternate Wednesday, I'll go to the old folks home where we support the old folks home by having them to draw, to do painting, right? And the painting that they did, they would add a paper into it, write some words, right? And make it into a card, sent to the donors for that old folks home.
Very innovative.
So of course, it would take a long time to accumulate all the art pieces, right? But it's really fun. That was what I did before I started my first job, which was to be a consultant in a survey company. That time, I always question myself, that time. Because when I first started, I'm like, okay, it's fun. I get to learn new things. But after a year, I'm like, why do I need to work? Why do I need to work like everyone else? No, I seriously question myself. I know everyone else is working, and I know I should work as well. I should contribute to the society, but why do I need to work? When I ask that, it's more of why do I need to be in employment? Why can't I do something more? Let's say to set up something, right? And that triggered me to start my previous startup as well. So with three founding members, so 4 of us together, we started.
Were they all guys also?
Me, another lady, and then 2 men. Okay. Yeah, so it was kind of balanced
gender.
It was a balanced gender. So when we started Food Ninja, it's to reduce inedible food waste in Malaysia. Yeah, so it's still we want to support sustainable future, right? So we want to reduce food waste in Malaysia. So that was why we started Food Ninja, and that I worked and started this small business part-time. So it was like a weekend business. And then I continue to ask myself, okay, is that something we want? I mean, after a while, the business model didn't work, so we stopped. And I continue to ask, is there something I can do? Is there more that I can do? Do I have to stay as an employee? Would it be possible for me to start something? And it made me think in terms of my intention to actually work. And I realized is that because everyone else has a job, if I don't have a job, it feels like I'm the outcast, right? So I follow the drift in a way. Then when I kind of wake up, I told myself, you know what? It's okay. We continue to gather experience, right? One thing, it's good to still gather experience. But why don't you start thinking of what's your next venture, maybe? So along the way, I met my business partner. So we were both in the same company, education company. And then he approached me and, both of us discussed and say, why don't we start this, right? I have so many friends who are in business. I have so many friends who can guide children in terms of what they currently do. And I asked him, can you come up with a syllabus a practical one. She said, yeah. And we're like, okay, so let's start. And that made me started my current business.
And then you talked about your first startup, your Food Ninja. And you said that the business model didn't work. Was there anything in there that you felt that if you could do it again, there were things that you could change, or there were things that you would have thought of or outlined better?
So the first issue that I noticed is 4 of us, we had our own job at the time, full-time. We were all full-time working, and all of us spent in Food Ninja part-time. So that is something that is a no-no. Right? We didn't notice then, but I start to notice now, because now I have to put full time into my current business, so I cannot imagine if I do it part time. So that is something that it didn't work. And the reason why all of us refused to kind of go into it full time, because we all have commitments, and we realized that if we really go in full time, it's either we need enough savings to do that, or someone has to take the responsibility and do it full time. So that is first issue. The second issue that we had was our business model. In a way, what we planned to do that time, it's something like eBay, but food waste eBay, where people can put their, so let's say I have extra milk powder, right, and I want to sell it, and then the other person is like, I want to buy that expired milk powder so I can turn it into animal feed, fish feed, for example. But we realized that if once they are connected, we don't have any job anymore, because after that they can have their own, they can deal with themselves, right, without our platform. And then we noticed that doesn't work unless we are like, potentially Shopee, that there is, in a way, customer service. There's also payment gateway involved. There's also logistics involved. Then it makes sense. But for us, the other problem is the lifespan, because let's say I run a sushi store, and I'm like, I want to give out this, not to say expired, but it's still edible sushi at the end of the day, right? But how long can I put this?
Yeah.
Maybe
how long can you
4
keep
hours?
It right in the fridge?
How long can I keep? 8 hours, and I have to wait to make sure someone has to get this in 8 hours. And that would be issue regarding, did you handle your food properly? What if someone get poisoned? There's so many issues in it that we've never thought of. Yeah. So that particular business model didn't work. Of course, we did explore a few things, and slowly, we changed jobs, and our founder also moved to Johor that time. So we are all founding members, right? And it just didn't work. So we decided, you know what, let's stop.
And now that you've come to your present business, right, which is the one where you're doing program, I would say that you're B2B, right? You're B2B because, like you mentioned just now, you do sell those programs to tuition centers and not really end users, but the end users are, of course, the children that get trained or taught, consumers. Right? So in this business, what do you enjoy most about it? I mean, of course, it's a big contrast to your Food Ninja.
No, right? So different, actually. What do I enjoy most? Okay, so every month,
there's no edible stuff that gets people into food poisoning risk, right?
Yeah, so that was one thing that we were the reason why we chose especially ice cream, because we are not worrying about having food poisoning. Anyway, so what I enjoy the most is the Q&A session when we were with the children. So every month we have a CEO that joined us, and we open up, right? After he shared a few things, then we were, now it's a Q&A time. They can raise their virtual hands, and then we will pull them up on Zoom, where we will spotlight the child, and then they get to ask questions. And we get a lot of interesting questions, right? So I'm going to give you this example. I have so many, but this one is my personal favorite. So we had a business pitch project, right? So he shared about entrepreneurship journey. How do you pitch to investors? How do you get funds? What is your vision, mission? So it was about 2 months session. So he's actually running a venture capital. So we invited him so that we can get children to practice pitching their business, right? and he shared about his journey, how he was betrayed, so and so. Then one boy, raised hand and he asked, he said, that other person betray you, right? Why don't you betray that person back? And he was like, it's a really good question. And it's something that we wouldn't ask, right, as adults. So I'm like, oh, good question. I'm very curious how he would handle it. And his answer was amazing. He said, I have already forgiven them because this was a long time ago. And furthermore, if currently they are successful, I'm actually happy for them. And that boy was like, okay.
But these are really good questions. I mean, like you said, right? Adults
really
think like we will check ourselves like, oh, this better not ask this question. It sounds a little silly. But kids are just like so spontaneous.
And this other one, which I quite like it as well. We had the retail project where we talk about online shop, physical shop, and then we want to do consumer survey and all. So again, this boy asked, he said, there are a lot of scammers, right? A lot of scammers on this online shop. Then what should I do? Let's say I buy all these scammer products and then I sell them on a bigger price. But what should I do with all these scam products? and then again, the CEO answered very well. The CEO said, before you even think about having as a bulk, right? You have so many products. Why don't you just buy one first? So all the products you were not sure whether this product is good or not. Then just get one. You try it out. If you find it okay, it's good, then okay, you can get it in bulk. But try it out first. And then he said, oh yeah, then I can save money. So yeah, all this innocent, but it really makes us think about all these questions. And we even get very serious questions like, what throughout your entrepreneurship journey, right? What is your biggest challenge? We have questions like that as well. But those that are very innocent, those are the questions that I remember.
And those are the ones that really make people stop and laugh, right? You laugh first, then only you decide
laugh first, and then we would really wait for it, right? And then we're curious how the expert will answer.
So just now you mentioned a very good question too. So in that respect, I'm going to ask you that question again. In starting AI talent, right? What were some of the earlier challenges? Now we heard about Food Ninja challenges. Let's hear about AI talent challenges. Even though it is a fun business, from the way you described it to me just now about the CEO sessions and all that. Yeah.
I think the challenge is still I would say up to now it is still there. So our biggest challenge is actually how do we show value to parents that this is important for their child, right? We're preparing for their future. And usually when we first started, let's say out of 10 parents, 1 or 2 would say, hey, this is a very good program. Now our stats is around 3 to 4. So when we talk to 10 parents, 3 to 4 parents would say, yeah, I think, they should really learn life skills, right? They should expose to real projects. So I would say it's a continuous challenge that I can't deny, because they still have to go to school, right? They still have to finish their exam. They still have to go through their academics. I'm not saying that is not important. It's just, how can we make parents see that it's not just about exams? They need to learn about how do they calculate costing. They need to learn about how do they make their first sale. They need to learn about how do they do survey, all this quotation, or even how do you work together in a team of 5. All this is still important for us. Right? So that is one of the challenge that, and we are still facing it. Now the other one, when I first started, so when we first started, it's still in Malaysia. I still remember I did like a Facebook advertisement. So people who are interested in terms of a children entrepreneur program can contact us. So mostly they are tuition center teachers or principals, right? Then I have a list. Then I will call them up and actually drive. Sometimes to Penang, sometimes to Kajang, sometimes to Cheras. So I will drive around everywhere and actually knock on their door and present to them I still remember like that. Of course, I have my slides and I have like some copy of the letter, right? Oh, I have Panasonic, collaborating with me at DG. So I actually have to do that, like physical, door by door. And at the beginning of 2020, when the pandemic hit, immediately I have to show my team that we can close online sale, right? So I think 2 days later, I closed one sale and I showed them, hey, I can do online sale. You can as well. And that actually, what I realized after the pandemic happened, I saved so much petrol, money on petrol.
You're saving the environment too.
Yeah, I know, right? And I can just zoom and we can just close sales in even in Thailand. We can even sell to Japan, Philippines, Indonesia. We can do international, and it really opens the door to us. It's just how can we make parents see that it's not just about exams. They need to learn about how do they calculate costing. They need to learn about how do they make their first sale. They need to learn about how do they do survey, all this quotation, or even how do you work together in a team of 5. All this is still important, right, for us, right? So that is one of the challenge that and that we are still facing it. Now the other one, when I first started, because when we first started, it's still in Malaysia. I still remember I did like a Facebook advertisement. So people who are interested in terms of a children entrepreneur program can contact us. So mostly they are tuition center teachers or principals, right? Then I have a list. Then I will call them up and actually drive. Sometimes to Penang, sometimes to Kajang, sometimes to Cheras.
But what changed for you? I know, of course, one is from offline to online, which makes it easier for you to access those people who are interested in your program. But what really changed for you? Is it something that you realized as you were selling, literally door to door? Something that just gave you a light bulb moment, like, oh, yeah, I should do this. I should say this. What gave you that confidence?
To me, if I'm a leader, I should be the first one to do it, to make it happen. And that time, I want to show a good example. So it's like, okay, you know what, Wan Xin, just find a way to close one deal. Then I can talk to my team. If I talk to my team that, hey, you can do online sale, it doesn't work, right? But this is like, hey, I just closed a sale. You can do it too. So I need to show a good example to them. And that was, I would say, my motivation.
The pandemic has changed things for you, because I do know that you're very active online now.
Yes, I am.
What's your online schedule these days?
I would say I would carve out lunchtime to meet some of my friends or even business associates on my team. And then online sessions I would do like in 2 or 3 days. So I would kind of accumulate them together. Right? So maybe let's say brunch meeting, and then afternoon would be 3 online meetings. Yeah, so I would pack it that way. So it doesn't have to be all online or offline, but there's a good hybrid.
So I think you are really reaching out to also other Asian countries, right?
April, I still remember April and May 2020, because everyone was forced to stay home, right? Lockdown. There was no vaccine that time. Nobody knows what COVID is like. So we had a lot of networking sessions. So international networking sessions, like with Thailand, with Taiwan. So it was I would say business speed dating feeling, right? So we had that session. So I joined a lot of all those online international networking sessions around April, May. And that's where I met my business partner in Thailand when she first started to try out AI talent program in July. And then around September, she was like, can I be your distributor? I'm like, sure. And around November, she's like, can I be your sole distributor for Thailand? I'm like, sure. So of course, we discussed the price and the contract after that. But I would say the pandemic helps because everyone was forced to stay at home. And what can they do, right? They might as well make use of this opportunity to do online business, to network internationally.
So just now you said that the Thai lady was very excited to be from distributor to sole distributor. What does that mean? Means she gets full rights of your program to sell in Thailand.
Correct. So she basically bought over the master license for Thailand, AI Talent Thailand. That's correct. Then we support her to do and create a Thai version of AI Talent. So Thailand is special in the sense like they can join our AI Talent International League, which definitely is mainly in English. And we also expose that to different international CEOs. They can also take the national route, which is fully in Thai. They work with Thai CEOs and everything is in Thai. So they can join both.
Now, I think you mentioned just now, but I kind of, in my excitement to ask you the question, I think you were mentioning how many countries are you in right now?
8 countries plus Malaysia, of course.
And those countries are including Thailand, Malaysia,
Indonesia, Philippines, Taiwan, Japan, Cambodia. Just now we were saying Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. Yes. Okay. Don't forget our neighbor.
Yeah. and also those are also like sole distributors for your program, right?
No. So Thailand, basically, only Thailand bought the sole distributorship. The rest are not sole distributed.
Oh,
so yes, okay. I'm still waiting for someone to buy like AI Talent Japan. We can create a Japanese version. I can't wait. I'm still waiting for someone to purchase AI Talent Indonesia maybe, or even maybe Saudi Arabia. I hope.
And of course, those will have to be localized also, right? Like the Thai version, because they have English and as well as the Thai language.
So we will work out 2 versions for that.
So what's in the future for AI Talent?
Oh, we are launching something very fun. Our kids are going to start their own online store. So we created a new platform, e-commerce platform. So it's like a children marketplace where they can create their own online store and they can sell things online. And that it's we call it Create Biz, like BIZ, like Create Biz. So it's like create business from young. And we started the platform running. We got the payment gateway ready. We got the logistics ready. So now it's next month is their project to start up the online store. So they manage it, of course, with parents' consent. We need parents' consent because they have to be the person that registers for the account. Yeah.
So this is for Malaysian kids first, right?
Yeah, for Malaysian kids first, and then we will roll it out country by country.
Very interesting. And I'm sure the kids are also excited, like now they get to own their own store.
I know.
Virtual store.
We are excited already. Yeah. And they can even help. Let's say their auntie is selling something. They can even get some help and sell it for the auntie. Why not? They can get some pocket money.
We've talked a lot about your business. We talk a lot about your future plans for your business and all this wonderful stuff that's happening for AI Talent. Then my question to you is, what are you no longer afraid of?
No longer afraid of. I would say to start something new. I wouldn't say like I'm completely no longer afraid of it, but it's more of like even if I'm afraid, I still do it anyway. Yeah, it's like, how can I do it even I have some fear? But I'm like, okay, I'm not sure because I'm not familiar with e-commerce. But let me just try it anyway. Yeah, so I would say that is something that I've learned throughout the process. I'm no longer afraid of starting a business.
You started too?
Yeah, so that would be something. I'm no longer afraid of talking to people who previously I might be thinking they are. I would have that inferior complex. That wow, they are so good. But now I feel comfortable. I was talking to this co-founder of Faith, right? So his turnover is like 100 million a month kind of business, and but to them it's like they still feel small as compared to Grab and Touch and Go and all that. But to me, it's when I get to talk to people that runs like huge business, I start to learn things from them. Start to know how to, ask questions, relevant questions. I'm no longer afraid of talking to strangers or new people.
And how do you overcome that? Is it because like over the years you've spoken to so many people, therefore you've lost that fear of speaking to people?
I think the first one is I always ask myself, so what is my commitment? So what's the reason I do this? So let's say the e-commerce side. I don't know about e-commerce, but I can learn. So what is the commitment that I want behind? Because I know this is a very good continuation, right? So that you know that the children learn the skills. Now it's time for them to showcase. So I know that it's good and benefit. So what is the purpose of me doing that? For example, okay, I want to talk to this famous founder. What is the reason behind that I want to talk to him? Because I want to make my business bigger, right? I want to empower more children. So I have in a way, there's a coming from that supercharged me to overcome my fear.
No. So it means that you have to identify why or your purpose for doing or saying something. Then it helps you, right?
It's more of that purpose is bigger than my fear. Yeah, and I know that I am bigger than that. That's all.
And who has had a tremendous impact on you?
Who? My dad. Like, I know the answer right away.
And why? And why?
I would say, and it's also an Asian thing, right? Since young, I have to prove to my dad and all that. But the other thing is also, he gives a lot of freedom for me. So when I first started this, I actually told him, right, I brought my business partner and I asked him to bring the girlfriend along. I said, Dad, the reason why I want you to meet my business partner is not because I need your help, but the reason is because I want you to know what I'm doing. I want you to know who I'm working with, and I don't want you to worry. That's it. Right? You don't have to give me your blessing. I just want you not to worry about what I'm doing right now. And I care a lot about him. So I would say he is the person that kind of made me feel like, okay, I want to make sure this business go well, and I don't want him to worry so much.
So it means that you have to identify why or your purpose for doing or saying something. Then it helps you, right?
It's more of that purpose is bigger than my fear. Yeah, and I know that I am bigger than that. That's all.
And now, what is the craziest thing you've ever done?
Actually, went to Japan for 2 weeks. I stay. So I joined this thing called Willing Workers of Organic Farm, where I stay in a host place, so a Japanese host. I was serving coffee there, even though I don't know how to speak Japanese. So it's like Willing Workers of Organic Farm, where we stay in the farm, right? We support them, and then in return they give us a place to stay and and some food to eat. So I don't know anything about the whole site. It's more of an online pairing, and then we just go. We do a bit of work, and then we get to exchange the culture. I would say that it's kind of the craziest thing I've done. In fact, when I was telling my dad, like I actually told him after I bought the flight tickets, I was like, I bought the flight tickets and I called my dad, Dad, I'm going to work in the farm for about 2 weeks. And you know how if a daughter tells her dad, I'm going to work in the farm for 2 weeks, he'll be like, are you crazy? He's saying in Hokkien somewhere, he's like, this is yeah. He's saying in Hokkien. I'm like, yeah, but I bought my tickets.
So there's no way you're not going to go, right?
Yeah, but he knows I prepared in the sense like I have a friend that went together with me. Yeah, so it was very fun. It was a very interesting experience, and that actually kind of opens up to what I can do, and who I am as a person.
And what about a personal goal that you're currently most focused on? And you can't mention AI talent.
My friend, right? sign me up for Penang Bridge Marathon 21 km half marathon.
Okay,
So
that sounds doable.
I know. So since he signed me up, like that becomes one of my personal goals recently. I have to train for the marathon. Not today. I just sprained my ankle, so not today. But yeah, it becomes a weekly routine where I will start jogging about 8 km. I'll slowly increase to 10 and 12, 16, and I'll go to 20. But slowly, yeah. So now my personal goal is to really complete that half marathon.
Which happens at the end of the year, right?
Yes, correct. So he had my IC, he go and sign me up.
Oh, you've got very interesting friends who just do things on your behalf.
It's good, right? So they push me, right? Because it's in my bucket list. They saw that, I have this in my bucket list, so they push it. Yeah, they do make sure I do it.
Okay, then speaking of bucket list, do you have a long one?
I mean, I don't have it right now, but I can name a few.
Yeah. For instance?
I actually want to do skydiving. Yeah, haven't been doing since pandemic. I wanted to learn. I mean, some of them that I've done. Like I wanted to learn saxophone, which I've done. I wanted to go Pulau Redang, of all places. I know it's so close, yet I've never been. I want to take master's course in the UK. Yeah, so I haven't gone that yet because right now I'm deciding in terms of like which course to take. I wanted to have this one would be after I get married lah. Have a music and a meditation room, especially for music and meditation. I thought about that.
For yourself or for your family?
It's actually for myself, but I think it would end up be for the family, for the future family. Yeah, but it would be good though. What else that I can remember? I actually wrote down quite a lot, and in fact, some of them actually was surprisingly done. Maybe I can share with you. So before I started Food Ninja, I was in Sydney and I was volunteering for this NGO called Aussie Harvest. So they basically harvest surplus food and then they pass it to the needy, right? So I joined a few of that session. So let's say during their Sydney Marathon, they would have a lot of leftover food. So we would collect them and then put them into the truck, and then the truck would send the food to the needy, right? And that time, I wrote in my bucket list, I think, okay, when I'm back in Malaysia, I will do something like Aussie Harvest. And about 3 months later, I met my founding members. It was crazy. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to write more. And in fact, I think I've mentioned to you, right? I wrote like, I want to help improve education in Malaysia, and it happened. I even wrote, I want to learn archery, and I did that. So quite a number of things that I wrote down actually happened. So quite cool.
I also believe in the power of bucket lists. At least a list that you know that you have a list of dreams that you want to achieve or want to do at some point in your life. Because there is some magic in writing it down. Because if it's in your head, it doesn't seem real.
Exactly.
Right.
And when I write it down, like things just happen. So after this, I will go and take it out and look at it again.
If there's one thing all our listeners can do after this for themselves is to really start writing their bucket list, or at least a list of dreams that they want to at least attempt once in their lifetime. Something funny, crazy.
And you don't have to like every day, don't look at it every day. You can just write it and then keep it. After some time, you just take it out again, write it. And you might realize that, hey, I've actually achieved some. I didn't realize I actually achieved quite a number of that.
Yeah. So that's the power of putting it on paper, and it becomes more real than it's in your brain or in your mind, right?
Yeah.
What would you say are your best strengths?
I was sharing with some of my business associates actually that day. So I realized I'm good at I would say enrolling people. I think in the Hokkien word is jio, right? I'm good at gathering people. So as long as there's an activity, people just come. So that is something that I'm good at. So the moment I say, hey, let's go here, my friends will come. But I also share with my business associate that it's also my weakness, because I am in multiple organizations. I'm in the NGO, I'm in the business associate group, I'm also in my friends group. So it's like I have a lot of network, but then I would spread myself too thin across.
But I can see that in you because you're pretty collaborative in so many ways.
Thank you.
Yeah. And the final question, of course, where can people find you online? If they're interested to be your distributor, sole distributor.
Two ways. One is you can go to my website, which is aitalent.net. So that is my website. The other way is just approach me on LinkedIn. So you can find me, just search Wuan Xin Teh, T-E-H. Sometimes they call it, they can't spell T-E-H. I would just say Teh Tarik on the phone, especially. Or like, Teh, I'm like, yeah, Teh Tarik, that Teh. Yeah. So just find me on LinkedIn. I'm very active there. So usually you can just send me a message on LinkedIn, or just send me a connection request saying that you saw me on the podcast, willing to connect with me. Yes, then we can engage from there.
We had a good conversation. We had a good chat about not only your business but also where you're coming from, and I can see that it has been with you all the while. It's not just something that you thought of, right? Your love for environment, your love for education in different ways. I think, like you say, it has come full circle, and it has come and culminated in the business that you run right now, which is AI Talent. Any last words? Any last words before we end the podcast?
That day, I was in UCSI University. I shared about my business, and of course, it was more of an entrepreneurship coffee chat session where we get them to come up with business ideas. And at the end of the session, one student approached me and he was like, what is this thing that you do every day, or is something that you would advise us to do that, right? And I thought about it. I told him, okay, this is my so-called habit. If I can do it there and then, I would just pick up the phone and I would just call and get it done. I don't like to wait. Maybe because I'm also impatient in a way. If I can, you need this help? Sure, I'll bring my phone. I'll call that person and say, hey, I know my friend is looking for this. I'll just pass to my friend and get it done, right? So get it done on the spot. That has been how I've been behaving so far. And that would be the one habit that I would like, if they can, don't wait, just do it now.
Great advice. Because I think too many people procrastinate, right? And by the time they come around to doing it, it's already like 3 to 6 months later.
Yeah. If you have to wait, then I can't deny that you need to follow your schedule. But if that is something that you can do it there and then, why don't just get it done? Maybe I just want to share one of the person who inspired me to, in a way, behave like this. I lost a friend, which I posted on LinkedIn actually not long ago he was 19 years old, I was 18 years old. So I lost him because he met an accident. And every time I hear this music by the Backstreet Boys, As Long As You Love Me, right, that song, it reminds me of him. And he's such a bubbly guy. He's very fun. And every time when I hear that music, it would be like, hey, Wuan Xin, I'm still here, right? You're doing good. I feel like he's just talking to me and also reminding me that, just cherish your time, like whatever time that you have in this world. And that is one of the inspiration and one of the reasons behind why I don't like to wait. I would just do it there and then if I can.
Thank you for sharing that story. I think it's very powerful because sometimes we don't realize, right, that all of us have this limited time on earth. So thank you once more, Wuan Xin. I really, truly enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you so much
understanding.
For having me here.
Yeah. And I'm glad we had this conversation. I'm glad that your business is going places. And I hope to hear good things from you. And maybe we'll get you back on the podcast. Probably in future seasons when you have grown globally. Yeah. But I'm sure whatever business you start, right, is something to do with education or the environment or nature or kids, right?
Yes. It won't be too far from it.
Yeah. We'll see you again.
Thank you. See you.
So there you have it. Don't you just love Wuan Xin's big dreams and hopes in empowering children to reach their highest potential? Wan Xin is so joyful, and I'm sure you had a smile on your face as you listened to the interview. She reminds me of a child who has stars in her eyes and exudes the youthful enthusiasm that we would all love to have. And if you're a returning listener, thank you. If you're new to this podcast, thank you too. I hope you will subscribe to the podcast and check out the show notes on the website. What are show notes? You can call them extra information, but they add a written dimension to the audio interview. I encourage you to check out the show notes as they always have surprises that can help you. And follow me on Instagram if you're there as well. Just look for Womenpreneur Asia. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next Friday.